10:41 morning to you. This is Breakfast with Stephen and Ellie. We're on your TV, on your radio and online, which means you can take us with you, whatever you're doing today, which is exactly what Marion is doing. Morning to you, Marion. She's got in touch from Dublin. So she's about to go shopping. It's an early start for the shops, Marion. So I have to take you with me on my phone. Sorry to squeeze you two onto a smaller screen. That's all right.
That's commitment.
We don't mind, do we?
We've got time for that, Marion. Yeah, yes. Fantastic.
So you
There's no excuse. We can be found everywhere now, can't we?
We can. So keep going. Oh, I should say a quick hello to Julie, who's she's enjoying a drizzly Sunday at Carnforth in our caravan. Carnforth Well in Lancashire. Very nice it is too. I'm sorry it's a drizzly day. Hopefully it's going to pick up a little bit later on.
Yeah, do let us know what you're doing with your bank holiday. So Julie's in her caravan. I'd love to know where you're watching the show today. GBNEWS@gbnews.uk. We like to feel like we're with you at home, don't we?
We do, actually. Alan and Val, on that note, are in New Zealand, having dinner, watching your very interesting news programme with your lovely presentation. I'll take that, you two. Thank you very much. Hope New Zealand's lovely.
I like all these international viewers. It's good, isn't it? It's nice to feel like we're a big family.
I've got a cousin and her fiancé who are in New Zealand. They've been there a couple of years now, coming back to get married next year. But I mean, the pictures they put on Instagram, oh, it's amazing.
Are they living the life?
It's beautiful. So beautiful out there. I've never been. One day I'll get out there.
You will.
There you go. Front pages for you now then, and we'll start with the Sunday Times. It has the call from senior MPs that the cosy culture of debauchery must be ended to save the reputation of Parliament. The Sunday Telegraph focuses on the Porngate scandal as Neil Parish resigned as an MP yesterday. It also reports that the Conservative Party has pledged that half of its MPs at the next election will be women. Sunday Express leads with Putin's army of saboteurs target Britain. Sources telling the paper MI5 is now going to increase monitoring of people arriving in the UK. The Independent reports that Whitehall insiders say the Treasury has withheld financial support and believes households can rely on their own savings to get over the cost of living crisis. The Mail on Sunday says Labour has made a secret agreement with the Lib Dems to sway the local election results. A former star of LOLO has told the Daily Star that French people have no sense of humour when it comes to the comedy show. Sue Hodge, who played Mimi LeBlanc, tells the paper the French don't quite get the programme. I bet they don't. Mimi LeBlanc. Is that before your time, hello? It did, yeah, completely before my time, I'll be honest. That went over my head. Oh, Renee. Brilliant. I mean, catch me up in the break, maybe on that one. Fabulous. It probably looks really dated now, but Sue Hodge, she goes by Swodge. She calls herself Swodge. I've got the pictures here. On the Daily Star. Sue Hodge is a little one. Oh, this one here. Yeah. There you go. There you go. Absolutely. Learn something new every day. Fabulous. Let's have a look at those papers there with Nikki Hodgson and Mike Parry. Morning, you two. Hello.
Gosh, I used to love it when I was a child.
It's a great show.
I mean, it is dated if you watch it now, but it's a bit, you know, it doesn't really sit well, some of the jokes, but...
It's not very PC.
No, but I found it extremely funny as a child.
Yeah.
Oh, I fell in love with the other waitress, not the one who's been talking about.
What was she?
Yes. Oh, I can't remember her name now.
Michelle's the actress.
Michelle's the actress.
Yeah, Vicky Michelle.
Vicky Michelle.
And I met her once to do, and I actually went up and asked her for an autograph on a picture that she had. I still got it. You know, to me, she was my dream woman, honestly.
Oh,
dream.
Yeah. Brilliant show. Mail on Sunday, Nikki. We were talking about this yesterday as well, this HRT shortage.
Yeah, so, I mean, gosh, would this happen with any other medication is kind of the question that we're having. So, about 1 million women in the UK need some kind of HRT, and it takes different forms, and at the minute there's a shortage of one particular gel. So, the problem, apparently, according to the Mail and campaigners, is that local NHS trusts can't sign off quick enough the prescriptions because there's been a great increase in the number of people that are requesting it, which is obviously to the good, but it's not to the good if then lots of people are starting the treatment and then having a disruption to their treatment at some point. We know that the Tory party has just appointed HRT czar, a bit like what happened with COVID the COVID task force to try and, push this issue forward. And Caroline Noakes, the Tory MP, has done a lot of campaigning about HRT. She even came out and said that she couldn't get some herself and had borrowed some off one of her colleagues. She was explaining the issue that lots of women have been trying to kind of beg, borrow, steal somebody else's because they are suffering. And it's important to remind people how serious the consequences are of not having HRT if you need it. Brain fog, depression. It's not just things like weight gain and moods, which is what people think. There's a greater chance of being suicidal in the age bracket of women that need HRT, if they have disruption to their supply or if they're not able to get it. So it's really serious and we have to sort it out right now.
I've been reading this story the last 2 or 3 days because I've had no experience of this whatsoever in my life. I've never been married, right? I had lots of relationships when I was a younger man, but I don't think I've ever had a relationship with a lady who's got to menopausal age. So I am completely ignorant of this and have had to read up very, very carefully on it to find out what's going on. Look, I'm the problem, because I'm a male who simply doesn't understand what the fuss is all about until I get into the subject and try and find out, you know what I mean? And yet it affects half of the population of the world, and I don't get it. I noticed, by the way, in this Mail story that Nikki's pointed out, is once again, it says that it's shambolic arrangements inside the NHS which have led to a lot of these problems. And I've been banging the drum now ever since COVID. Look, the NHS is brilliant, we all love it, but doesn't it need a wholesale review of resources and how we use them, how much money we waste, and we don't get priorities like this, into perspective against other things the NHS does, which aren't as important. And just one more observation, the same paper, a few pages further on, Alexandra Shulman, very famous magazine editor of many times, she's actually putting the brake on it a bit. She's saying, my message of hope to women living without HRT, and during a piece of this in her column today, she says, I believe panic breeds panic, and is actually trying to tell women, I think some of you are getting a bit excessive in your fears about what could happen.
There's a point to that, isn't there?
Well, there is, but it's all very individual. Some people have a terrible reaction to not having it, and some people cope, and we don't know who those people are going to be. One of the issues is that the government is going to put a restriction on how many months supply you can get at a time, so no more than 3 months, because that's apparently going to help with the supply chain issues. But I don't think it's very helpful for one woman who manages without it to tell everyone else, don't worry if you can't get it.
No, I think that's a fair point. I'm with you, Mike, on this one.
Yes.
I think as men in general, almost need to keep our trap shut on this one, because we just don't go through it, do we?
Not only that, I don't want to talk about it, to be honest. I know that sounds terrible. I'm not ignoring the plight of women who clearly suffer terribly badly, but it's something I feel a bit uneasy about, you know what I mean? So...
But the point is we need more acceptance. That it's easy to talk about so we can deal with the issues. Davina McCall has got a programme on TV this week. She talks about menopause a lot, and she says, the headline in the Mail is, it's time for husbands, brothers and sons to join.
That's exactly the point I'm making. Exactly the point I'm making.
No, that's an interesting point. Look, we've only got time for one more, Mike. So I tell you, because you mentioned marriage, that you've not been married. What's this in the Sunday Times?
Right.
You're married and poor.
Yeah, this story in the Sunday Times, which I'm going to find now because, of course, I'm right on top of the game. Here we go. It says, poor married couples more likely to stay the distance than wealthy cohabitees.
Wonder what that is.
Well, it's the old adage, isn't it? That, if you're 18 or 19, you get married, you grow up in a council house and all that kind of stuff, you'll be great forever, you will love it and all that. Whereas wealthier people who have other things to satisfy their life and other ways to enjoy their time and all that don't stay together as long. On their wedding day, many brides and grooms vow to take their spouse for richer, for poorer, until death do us part. Now research has found that those who get married are much more likely to stay together, whatever their bank balance. So we're talking about cohabitees as well. There's been the peak year, this story says, for getting married was 1973, and it's been going down ever since. In 1973, the average age for a man to get married was 23, and I was 19 in 1973. The average age now for a man to get married, 32. And the rest in between are lots of cohabitees, and they're the ones who don't stay together.
Yeah, interesting, that.
Divorce is a luxury, you've got to be able to afford it.
Well, that's true. That's
married to the right person, that's what I say.
Well, I'll tell you what, old Boris Becker has found that out, because that was one of the biggest problems that hit him. A massive divorce.
No, true. Look, we've got to leave it there, but thank you both. We'll catch up with you a little bit later on, Mike and Nikki.